no bond is vulnerable, and West is the dealer on this one. Well, not going to think too long about West's bid. 4 points in total, not strong enough even to open a weak 2, even if they had a 6-card suit. So even if that Queen of Clubs was the Queen of Spades, I'd still argue it's not really strong enough for a weak 2. So West has got a nice easy pass to begin with. Right, now round to North. See what North's got. Okay, so North's got an interesting choice here. They've got a choice between 2 bids for me. One would be to open 3 clubs, which would show 7 cards in clubs a weak hand, a preemptive, classic preemptive bid. The alternative is to open 1 club. So strictly speaking, 11 points is usually too strong to open a preemptive bid, but you could make the argument that the singleton Queen of Diamonds isn't really worth a full 2 points, and if you were to discount the hand by the Queen of Diamonds, it's now 9 points. It is more likely, more like a preemptive bid kind of hand. So there's a choice, and I think you could go either way. You think you can make an argument for either case. My view is, with a hand that meets the rule of 20, you should open 1. So I personally would prefer opening 1 club on this hand. My preference, of course, would be the Queen of Diamonds was the Queen of Clubs instead, and then I'd be much more enthused. But I think because it meets the rule of 20, you should open 1. And just as a recap, the rule of 20 is the number of points you have. In this case, we have 11. Plus the numbers of cards in your 2 longest suits, so 7 and 3. And you add all that up, 11 plus 7 plus 3. If that gets you to 20, you should open the bidding. So in this instance, that gets us to 21, which means we definitely should open the bidding 1 something, rather than 2, 3, 4, etc. So in this instance, I'm going to open 1 club. I can see an argument about 3 clubs, but for me, because you meet the rule of 20, I think it's a 1 club opener. Okay, now over to East. East hasn't got a particularly good hand either. Feels like a North-South hand to me. So East has got a 5-card suit, which is what you're looking for to overcall 1 something, in this case 1 club. So East could bid 1 diamond over 1 club. However, I don't think the suit's very good. King nothing to 5 is usually not a sufficient suit quality to make an overcall. You could make an argument of it's very cheap, it's only at the 1 level, but my rule about overcalling is you ask yourself, do you want your partner to lead your suit? So if the answer is yes, I would like my partner to lead a suit, then that would suggest your suit is good enough quality. In this instance, I'm not sure we do want our partner to lead the suit because our king could easily get squashed by the ace. So for me, that isn't a good enough suit, so I think the correct bid for East is to pass. Some would bid 1 diamond, you're not vulnerable, you're only at the 1 level, etc. I can kind of see that. But for me, I don't think it's a good enough suit. If you were to have the Queen of Hearts be the Queen of Diamonds instead, let's say that was your hand where you had King, Queen to 5 diamonds, then I would be more on board with it because you do want a diamond lead. As it is though, the diamonds aren't good enough for me. And there's nothing really else worth considering bidding. We're not strong enough to double, albeit we've got the right shape, we're not strong enough to double, and we haven't got another 5-card suit. So it's simply choosing between bidding 1 diamond or not bidding 1 diamond. And I don't think the diamonds are good enough, so I think pass is the right bid. Okay, now to South, responding to their partner's opening of 1 club. And there are all the points. We have got 14, 18, 19 points in total. An incredibly good hand, especially when you're responding to a 1-level opener. So immediately I would be thinking about some kind of slam here. Our partner's opened 1 of a suit, in this case clubs. We have 19 points plus at least kind of 11 or 12 for their opening bid of 1. We're in and around the 30-point region for a slam. However, we don't need to rush. We need to try and find a fit first. We could have a fit in clubs, we could have a fit in diamonds, or maybe we don't have a fit and we might have to opt for no trumps, depending on what our partner's got. But in this instance, we don't need to rush. Just because you have a strong hand as a responder doesn't mean you need to rush in the bidding as you're at the first instance. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to bid some big contract as South, probably maybe 6 clubs or 6 no trumps or something. But we don't know yet. So the correct bid is to simply bid a new suit, which is forcing, and wait to see what our partner's rebid is. We need clarity from North as to what they have for their opening bid. Do they have 5 clubs, 4 hearts? Do they have 6 cards or more in clubs? Do they have a balanced hand, an unbalanced hand, etc.? So for me, I think the correct response is 1 diamond. A new suit is a forcing bid, 6 or more points. There is no upper bound, 6 to any number of points, and 4 or more diamonds. A lot of players make a mistake with this hand. They get excited and they start jumping around. Jump to 3 no trumps, jump to 3 diamonds. You don't need to jump with your first bid if it's a new suit. In this instance, diamonds have not yet been bid, so a simple bid of 1 diamond will get a rebid from North and we'll hear about what their opening hand is about, and it's at that point we might jump to some contract depending on what judgment we'll make after we hear their rebid. So for now, just a nice simple 1 diamond. Okay, so back to North. West has passed and East-West will probably be passing throughout now, so it's going to be a North-South only auction from here. And North needs to make their rebid. Partner has bid 1 diamond, 4 or more diamonds, 6 or more points. We need to bid something to tell our partner what kind of hand we've got. So if we were balanced, we would be looking to bid no trumps. If we were unbalanced, we need to bid our suits. In this instance, we have only 1 suit, which is clubs. So we need to bid clubs again. Well, that's not surprising with 7 of them. The question is how many? Now here is a very common mistake from a lot of players. A lot of players think you jump when you have more cards in your suit. That is akin to the opening bid, like a preemptive style. So if you open 3 clubs, you have 7 clubs. If you open 4 clubs, you have 8 clubs. So a lot of players conflate those 2 ideas and say, well, if I've opened 1, I should bid 3 next to show 7 cards. But if you jump with your second bid, it doesn't show extra length, it shows extra strength. So if you open 1 club and rebid 3 clubs, you're showing 6 cards in clubs, but 16 or more points, which is not true here. It's not even remotely true. We're miles away from 16 points. So the way to bid 7 card suits when you don't have the strength to jump, but you're too strong to open 3, is you bid 1, then 2, and if your partner asks and bids again, then you bid 3. So you bid them 3 times in a row to say clubs, clubs, clubs. That shows not 16 points, 12 points, with lots and lots in the suit you've repeated 3 times. So in this instance, we should bid 2 clubs. It says we've got an unbalanced hand with clubs and only clubs, and not 16 points, because if we had 16 points, we would have jumped in clubs, or bid our second suit, or bid no trumps, or something. So in this instance, I'm just going to simply repeat clubs and wait to see what responder does next. It might go 2 clubs, pass, 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 or our partner might do something else. So for now, just a simple rebid of 2 clubs. Alright, so back to South. And South has now heard North's rebid saying, I've got clubs, but I haven't got 16 plus points, and I've got clubs and only clubs. So we now know South hasn't got 4 cards in hearts or 4 cards in spades, or indeed probably not 4 cards in diamonds either, otherwise they would have probably chosen to support us. So we know that they're unbalanced with clubs and only clubs, so probably 6 plus clubs. So we've got to decide really how high do we want to go now. So there's a pessimistic route, which is 3 no trumps. We've got stoppers and everything, our partner's got clubs, we've got enough points for game, that'll do. We'll take our easy 3 no trumps. We'll make 3 no trumps standing on our head. Slightly more optimistic view will be to be thinking about a slam in either clubs or no trumps. Now typically, a slam in a suit is easier than a slam in no trumps because you can trump in, obviously. So we could be thinking about slamming clubs here because 30-ish points with a fit is usually when you want to start thinking about a slam. We have got a fit, albeit it's clubs, which I'm not thrilled with, but we haven't got a heart or a spade fit, so that's fine. And we have got 30-ish points. Our partners open the bidding at the 1 level, so they've got at least 12-ish or 20. We've got 19, that is 30-ish. So for me, I think the correct approach now would be to bid 4 no trumps, showing I'm interested in slam, tell me how many key cards you have, and Roman key card functions on the last naturally bid suit. It assumes the last suit bid was trumps or is trumps. So if we jump to 4 no trumps here, our partner's going to assume we have agreed clubs, which is precisely what we want to do. If we had agreed a suit earlier and then we bid 4 no trumps, it's the suit you've obviously agreed. But if you haven't agreed a suit, it's the last natural suit bid. So I think 3 no trumps, ultra pessimistic. This hand is too good to do that. So I think I'm going to jump to 4 no trumps to see how many key cards our partner has, to see if we can make a slam in clubs or indeed a grand slam in clubs. So I'm going to go straight to 4 no trumps. Right, back to North, and North is probably somewhat surprised by our partner's bid of a leap to 4 no trumps, but we've got to answer the question. When one of you bids a Roman key card, you answer the question, you trust them that they know what they're doing. So we assume that clubs are trumps because they were the last natural suit bid. So we need to count our key cards with clubs as trumps. So that's the 4 aces and the king of trumps. In this instance, we have 2 of them, the ace and king of trumps. So the answer in Roman key card to show 2 key cards is 5 hearts. But importantly, if you have 2 key cards, you also want to consider if you have the queen of trumps as well. So because we have 2 or 5 key cards without the queen, the correct bid is to bid 5 hearts. If we had the queen as well, we would bid 5 spades. And it's important that you differentiate between the queen when you have 2, because 2 is often around about half the key cards. You're on the cusp as to whether to bid slam or not. If we had no key cards, we'd bid clubs, diamonds would show 1. So our correct bid is 5 hearts, which shows 2 aces or an ace and the king of trumps. 2 of the 5 key cards, 4 aces, the king of trumps. So we have 2 of them, ace and king, but we don't have the queen. So 5 hearts carries that message. Okay, back to south, and we now know that our partner has 2 key cards, which means they have 2 aces or the ace and king of trumps. In this instance, it's very obvious what they've got because we have 3 aces. So therefore, our partner must have ace and king of clubs. However, because they've shown 2 key cards, but they haven't bid 5 spades, they haven't got the queen of clubs. So we know we're missing the queen of trumps. Ace, king, but not the queen is what our partner's response says. So that gives me the feeling that it's slightly risky to be going for a grand slam. Well, it's more than slightly risky. It is risky to go for a grand slam because we're missing the queen of these. Not only that, we don't necessarily know about the king of this either. You only ever ask for kings if you think a grand slam is potentially on. Here, we know a grand slam is not potentially on because we haven't got the queen of trumps. You do not want to be in a grand slam missing the queen of trumps because then you need to find it. You need it to drop or finesse, depending on what the odds say. So I'm thinking now, well, we're in small slam. 6 clubs looks reasonable. But there is a slight voice in my head saying, well, what about 6 no trumps? You're going to run the clubs, you might have to lose the queen, but you're going to set the clubs up, and then we're going to have lots of tricks outside of clubs. 6 no trumps is being greedy for an extra few points. So to make 6 clubs, you'd get 920, not vulnerable. 6 no trumps, you get 990. Now, the reason why I feel somewhat confident about 6 no trumps is our partner has got 12 points. Ace, king of them are clubs, but they must have some queens somewhere because otherwise they can't have opened 1 club. It's hard to create a hand for our partner where they've got ace, king of clubs, 7 points, and they haven't got useful cards in the other 3 suits. They kind of have to have ace, king, queen, queen, or ace, king, queen, some kind of combination where it gets them to 11, 12-ish points. So I think I'm going to be greedy for the 6 no trumps. It could go wrong if they lead a diamond and we don't have the king or queen of diamonds, and then the clubs don't break, and then we can't make 12 tricks in no trumps, but we might have made them in clubs. So the greed could cost us, but it's very, very likely that 6 no trumps is going to make on the back of the clubs with all of our stoppers in the suits. So 6 clubs is a reasonable bid, nothing wrong with that. 6 no trumps is a greedy bid, but I like the chances of 6 no trumps based on our partner's original opening bid. So I'm going to be greedy for the extra, the best slam, which is to jump to 6 no trumps. Okay, so leading against 6 no trumps. The typical thing to lead against no trumps is to lead your long suit. So I can't really see a reason not to do that. Lead a spade. No one has bid spades. Spades looks safe. The alternative is to lead a sequence like 10, 9, 8, but they've bid diamonds here, so I don't really want to lead into the diamond strength here. So I'm thinking like a spade lead is normal. The alternative is to lead a heart because it's the unbid suit. If I'm honest though, I'm not really inspired by very much at all. So I'm just going to be normal and lead a spade. Could be wrong, but it's unlikely to be. The reason you lead your long suit against no trumps is you want to try and set that up, but it's also safe because you know the opponents won't have length in it, so you won't be helping them set a suit up in normal circumstances. So that's why a spade is probably the best here. With regards to which spade, to lead a sequence lead, you want 3 cards in a sequence in order to lead a sequence lead against no trumps. You only need 2 touching cards against trumps, 3 touching cards against no trumps. Now, of those 3 honours, 2 of them need to be touching, so King, Jack, 10 or Queen, Jack, 10, something like that. So I would lead the 6 of spades, the 4th card down. If I were leading against 6 clubs, I would lead the Jack of spades because you only need 2 touching honours for a trump, a lead of a sequence against trumps. whereas against no trumps you want 3 honours, of which 2 are touching. So for me, the correct lead is the 6 of spades, albeit I'm not thrilled with much. Okay, down goes the dummy with all the clubs. Alright, so 6 no trumps the contract. In no trumps you want to count your top tricks. So you want to count the tricks you have in the bank, so to speak, and you want to see how you're going to establish your extra tricks. So going from left to right from dummy's perspective, we've got 3 tricks in spades, ace, king, queen. We've got 2 tricks in hearts, ace and king, so that's 3 plus 2 is 5. We've got 2 tricks in clubs, we'll come back to clubs in a second, that's 7. We have 1 trick in diamonds, so that's 8. So that means we have 8 tricks. If we were to just panic and take our 8 tricks, what the top tricks is telling us is we are 4 short. So that means we need to build some tricks, and the way in which you build tricks in no trumps typically is you play on your longest suit. In this instance, this is very blindingly obvious which suit we're going to play on for length. Sometimes you have a couple of suits you could have a go at. In this instance, it's clubs and only clubs. We only have a majority in clubs. All the other suits, the opponents have more than us. So it's going to come down to how the clubs behave in the sense of how they break. Because of our partner having a 7th club, they only promised us 6 in the bidding, but they had an extra one. We've got 10 clubs between the two of us. So when we play the ace-king, our hope would be that it goes ace-king, and then all of the clubs fall down, and then we can go club, 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 and win all 7 club tricks. That will take our total from 8 tricks up to 13, because we're going to make 5 extra club tricks. Now the chance of a 2-1 break is pretty high, it's 72%. So it's very likely that we can play ace-king, all of their clubs fall down, and we're going to have a very easy time. We're going to be able to win 7 clubs, 3 spades is 10, 2 hearts is 12, ace of diamonds is 13. So if the clubs break, we're making all of them. If the clubs don't break, we're going to have to lose a club. So what I'm going to be careful of here is to make sure we can get back to the clubs, just in case the clubs break 3-0. If one of the opponents has all 3 clubs, their queen is going to survive the ace-king, and we're going to need transportation back to the table. And the only certain way of getting the lead to the dummy is the queen of spades. The opponents have led spades, so I'm going to keep the queen of spades to be able to get back there. Now this blocks the spades, but it keeps an entry to the clubs, just in case we get a horrible break. Now an alternative play would be to, when we play the ace of clubs, you find out about the nasty break. You give them their club trick early, keeping a club in this hand. You could also do that to keep an entry to dummy, keep a club in your hand. But if the clubs break, we don't have to worry about any of that. If the clubs break, it's going to be a very straightforward route to 13 tricks. So what I'm going to do for now, win the spade in hand, keeping the queen of spades just as an extra entry, just in case, as discussed. And then I'm going to tackle the clubs. If they break, 13 tricks will be mine. If they don't, I'm going to have to think about it a bit carefully. But for now, play low. Alright, so on the spade lead, play the 8, third hand plays high, albeit it's not that high, but you know, the East is doing their best. We shouldn't take the seemingly free trick of the 9, because that means we can't get back to the dummy with it. We need a 9 of spades to the queen of spades, so we should still win the ace. We can't make more than 3 spade tricks, so it doesn't matter which spade we win with. So we should win the ace, because that gives us an extra entry to the dummy, should we need it, should the clubs decide to misbehave. It does make the spades a bit awkward to play later, but we can deal with that later. So now we're going to test the clubs, clearly the best suit to play on. It goes club, club, ace, and the jack of clubs appears. So that's now that's 4 clubs gone. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, just confirming the thing we thought originally, which is if the clubs split 2 and 1, they're all ours. It doesn't matter who's got the queen of clubs, we know it's dropping next. So now we're going to play the king of clubs. This hand discards something, it's going to be irrelevant what east-west do now. And the queen of clubs appears, which now means all of these clubs were winners, which is exactly what we were hoping for. We were hoping for a 2-1 break, which, as I said, is above 70% chance, so a very likely thing to happen. Now we're going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 club tricks. So we're going to win all of these clubs. We're going to play club, 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 club. And on those clubs, we're going to throw away we're going to follow suit once. We're going to throw away 3 diamonds and 1 heart. So hopefully you can see that is getting rid of all of our losers. The club we have to follow to, we throw away 3 poxy diamonds. We don't know who's got the king of diamonds, but we don't care. And we throw away this losing heart. So on those 5 clubs, we go like so. Then all we have to do is play the queen of spades, getting it out of the way before we then come to our hands. So the queen of spades wins, like so. And then any red card, and all of the tricks are ours. So we went from 8 tricks to 13 as potentially predicted, because we made 5 extra club tricks. There's no real way to bid this Grand Slam. You can't really know about your partner's queen of spades and their useful 7th club. It's the 7-card club suit that really makes it. If our partner had opened 3 clubs, we would know they've got 7 cards in clubs, but we wouldn't know about their strength. So I still think you only get to 6 rather than 7, because you're worried about losing the queen of spades or the diamonds or something. As it happens, this hand played itself. Win the lead, run all the clubs, throw all your losers away. 13 tricks, dead easy for 6 no trumps plus 1.